Greetings once again. It's time for Shelf Life Book Reviews Online, where I present to you a book that I very, very highly recommend. And today's book, it's a classic. It is Atlas Comics Library Number 4, War Comics Volume 1, published by Fantagraphics. It retails for $34.95 in the United States and $46.50 in Canada, and it is 224 pages long. This is a classic. Fantagraphics is reproducing issues that were done by the Atlas Comic Group in the 1950s. Now, as we all know, Atlas evolved into Marvel Comics many years later. And it's really great to see these old comics, especially, well, the war comics. Back in the 50s, companies fought for the consumer dollar, and popular topics were horror, of course. There were Western comics, romance comics, and war comics, and funny animal comics. So there was basically comics for every reading taste. And since most of the consumers of the comics back then were younger children, these were really classics. Now, this issue reproduces War Comics volumes or issue numbers 1 to 8, and they were published between December 1950 and February 1952. And War Comics had some of the top writers of the day. Amongst them were Gene Colan, Russ Heath, Joe Maneely, Vern Henkel, Dave Berg, Pete Morosi, and Norman Steinberg. Now, and many others, of course. Now, it should be noted, there's an introduction in the book by Dr. Michael J. Vasallo, who is a comic expert. And he not only writes about the comics of the early 50s, but he talks about magazines that were popular back then that appealed to the male reading audience. He talks about Stag magazine and some of the cartoon books. Well, not cartoons per se, but they were more girly cartoons, and they appealed to the male audience. Now, this has reproduced in great detail not only the covers, but the issues themselves. They also have some of the advertisements, and this is really excellent reproductions because these are a joy to read. They mainly talked about, of course, World War II and the Korean War. And some of the stories were based on actual war stories. So that adds a extra layer to them, and brings them actually more reality-based. There are, I would say, over 30 different stories because there are 8 issues included in this edition. And there are a lot of standouts. Now, I just jotted a few of the names down, or titles, because there are over 30, and I can't list them all. But some of the classics were Sergeant Storm's Mission, Tank Trap, Crossfire, The Hounds of Death, The Chips Are Down, Brass Hat, and Total Destruction. So if you like classic comics from the 50s, especially the Atlas Comic Group, this is really a book that you must add to your collection. Like I said before, Fantagraphics has to be heartily congratulated for restoring these books, back to their original, condition, really, and by showing us the type of comics that people loved and read back, about 75 years ago. So if you're looking for a great book, this is definitely, like I said, I'll just skim a few more pages here. This is really excellent reproductions, and so you must add it to your collection. There will be more editions coming out later this year, and I will let you know what has come out. And thank you for watching. If you do purchase this book, please let me know if you do agree with my review. I kind of think you will, because this is a great book. So until we meet again with another great book to review, as I always say, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.